We are the first African generation to do business.
It's just simply doable. Even though it's in deep, dark Africa, it's doable.
We must do it better than anybody else because we are the best.
It is the dream of every member of society to become a homeowner. In Europe and elsewhere, the tendency will be to acquire a home. When you have outgrown it, sell it and move into another one and so on. But here in Africa, a home is considered something to pass on to the next generation and the next generation.
HFC Bank, Ghana Limited, is the largest provider of housing finance in Ghana today. And we became listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange in 1995. We had a track record of paying dividends every year since our establishment. We are described as a universal bank, a one-stop service for mortgage borrowers, investors, developers. Before we started, we went for training from the Housing Development Finance Corporation of India. What impressed me most was the willingness of any Indian at whatever level to save a portion of his salary.
For most of Africa, our incomes in relation to house prices poses a very big challenge. What we have been able to do in Ghana is to fashion out a graduated payment method which allows mortgagors to start off their repayments low and then begin to pay more as their incomes improve over the life of the loan.
People had no background of banking or savings or anything that you would take for granted in a developed country. In addition, they didn't have the required minimum 20% down payment. We had to deal with teaching people the value of investing, having savings, being committed to a loan and paying it regularly. We had to set up what we call a unit trust. You call it mutual fund, a collective investment to help them quickly mobilize the required down payment. We required them to be people in formal employment. And we had to introduce the joint ownership concept, which was completely foreign at the time. Indeed, we had to persuade the women that the law protected them in death or in the case of a divorce.
So you're interested in the mortgage facility?
Yes. HFC coming into being created the catalyst that enabled other entrepreneurs to venture into formal real estate development.
That's okay.
From the small number of 26 estate developers who initially formed the Ghana Real Estate Developers Association, we now have in excess of 400 registered real estate developers.
We have 14 different house type designs, from 2 bedrooms to 3 bedroom house, up to 6, with different facilities like air conditioning, swimming pool.
We have ventured into providing mortgages for Ghanaians who live outside of Ghana. We call them non-resident Ghanaians who have a much bigger earning power and tend to be the ones that the upmarket houses are targeted at. In a way, they have influenced the direction of the market.
We want to keep more and more of our trained people at home to develop this country. We don't want them to come home when they are either too old or too sick to be of any use to anybody. We want them to come home and help in the development of our country.
Measure. Do everything correct.
The housing industry has done very well. You have professional people, architects, engineers, getting jobs out of it. You have the ordinary laborer getting an income from the building of houses. You have surveyors, you have the suppliers of various materials, the manufacturers of building materials having a stake in it.
Which one do you want to buy?
The demand for houses is very, very great, and we have benefited tremendously because people are buying homes and they come in and they want refrigerators, microwave, cookers, televisions, and what have you. So I think business is very great, I must confess.
The market's just phenomenal. The last population and housing census in the year 2000 put the housing unit deficit at around 900,000. The mass market is not being addressed by the estate developers. They are all going for the upmarket, high-margin houses. I think there is a need for a clear national housing policy that is very relevant to the needs of the players on the market.
The challenges we have faced have been with the inadequate infrastructure. And these have been major factors in the pricing.
Developers have had to bear the cost of building water pipes for miles, and pulling high-tension cable as well as low-tension domestic distribution lines. And the moment that these facilities have been distributed to homeowners, they become the property of the utility agencies. And there is no system in place for developers to recover these costs.
Do you have any previous ideas?
One other major issue, the time of writing the mortgage through the registration process and all that it takes can be sometimes take as long as a year, 2 years, and that is quite a bit of a disincentive. But I think there's some effort at computerizing the land administration system in Ghana to remove some of this red tape.
Housing is one of the best ways to the development of any economy. You have homeowners gaining equity in their homes instead of paying out rent. Indeed, you have the families benefiting from the pride and satisfaction of living and owning their homes. The most precious possession of any family